All right, Rabbi say good evening, good evening. First of all, Yeshkot Rabbi Richter for giving shir last week, Baruch Hashem. Incredible dap in Berachos. Rabbi say, so I had an epiphany. So it's an epiphanosodic moment like that. I think I made that up. Yeah, it is a word. It is a word. You're an accountant, first of all. So, as I say, I realize that we're not going to rush. We're not going to rush. Emirat Hashem. We're just, we're gonna spend 20 minutes. Emirat Hashem. We're not going to get through a whole daf. It's okay. So if we move a little bit slower this week, next week, Emirat Hashem, the Gemara is too good to really go ahead and rush through it. Again, we're not going to go super slow, but Emirat Hashem, just take the opportunity to really let these Gemaras permeate. So we'll say, so tonight's daf is Ches. So we are picking up Emirat Hashem on Zayin Amud Beis, 3 lines up from the bottom. Amarli Rabbi Yitzchak, Rabbi Nachman. So it's a great story. So Rabbi Yitzchak said to Rabbi Nachman, he said, "My time alo osimar lebei knishta." So we'll say, this is great. So Rabbi Yitzchak says to Rabbi Nachman, why didn't she come to shul? See, Rabbi say, this is why in life you have to have good friends, right? It's kedai. Really, a person always has to have someone who says, where were you this morning? Right? Why weren't you at Shachris? Where were you by Mincha Mariv? What happened to you by Shir? Because at the end of the day, if you don't have someone in life who's holding you accountable, generally, most of us don't rise to the occasion. It's just the way that it is, right? If no one's looking and no one's asking, then the truth is, I'll just more often than not end up taking the path of least resistance. So it's such a beautiful Gemara. So Rabbi Yitzchak says to Rav Nachman, why didn't you come to shul to daven? Amar lei lo yechilna. So I couldn't make it. It's great. I wasn't able to make it. So Amarle, lekante lemar asar v'litzle. Well, I hope even though you didn't come to shul, were you at least able to gather together a minyan, right? Get 10 people together to daven. Amarle tirchali milson. No, that's really complicated, right? It's a lot of effort to go ahead and get 10 people together. So again, so Rabbi Yitzchak says to Rav Nachman, okay, so if you're not going to come to shul and you're not going to get to a minyan together, at least when you're going to daven at home, daven at the same time that they're davening in shul. Let the Shliach Tzibur tell you, at what point they're getting up to Shmona Esrei, so that you could go ahead and daven together with the Tzibur. So Amarle, my kuli hai. So we'll say, after this whole discussion, Rav Nachman says to Rabbi Yitzchak, I don't understand, what is this big deal of davening in shul? In other words, so we'll say, clearly what's happening over here is Rabbi Yitzchak saying to Rav Nachman, you really need to daven in shul. There's a thing, again, I say a person could discharge their obligation of tefillah even if I'm by myself. That's absolutely true. But there is a beautiful element, an important element of davening together. By the way, it's not just with a minyan, because if you watch the progression, right? Remember again, what's the conversation? Part 1 is Rabbi Yitzchak says to Rav Nachman, number 1, why weren't you in shul? Right? So again, to which Rav Nachman responded, I wasn't able to make it. Okay, then part 2. Okay, you can't make it to shul? Did you at least get a minyan together? So we'll say, what do you see from here? You see that davening with 10, we learned this in Smichas Chaber, davening with 10 people with a minyan is very nice, but it's not the same as davening in shul. Right? There's a power to davening in shul. So after this entire exchange, Rav Nachman says to Rabbi Yitzchak, he says, at the end of the day, my kulei hai. I don't understand. So you're obviously hung up on this davening in shul. What's the power of davening in shul? Was beautiful because he goes to Rabbi Yochanan Rashbi, top of Ches, my dichsiv. What's the meaning of the pasuk? Va'ani tefila silacha Hashem es ratzon. So Rabbi said, listen to this. But for me, my tefillah to you, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, should come at an appropriate time. A masai es ratzon. I will say, when is it an Eis Ratzon? When is it considered to be an opportune time to daven to HaKadosh Baruch Hu? B'shah shat tzibor mispalalin. At a time that the tzibor is davening. And I will say, this is incredible. What is the definition of tzibor? What is the definition of tzibor? Tzibor is not a minyan. Tzibor, or I should say, tzibor is a minyan, but it's a minyan where? In shul. In shul. It's an incredible idea. In other words, the ideal of tefillah b'tzibor is davening with a minyan inside of a shul. Okay, you can't get a minyan in shul forever. Okay, the next best thing is a minyan anywhere else. Under that, the next best thing is if you're going to be davening by yourself, maybe daven the same time that the tzibor is davening. But there's a power, which is even in the Gemara. Tefillah b'tzibor is davening with the minyan inside of shul. It's incredible. Rabbi Yosef he says from here, Kama Hashem tzavakos ba'is ratzon inisicha. Rabbi Acha, Rabbi Chanina, Armehacha, Hein el kabir v'lo yimasu ksiv, Pidei b'shalom nafshi mekarav li, ki berabim hayu imadi. So again, Gemara just quoting different psukim to highlight the power of dafka davening inside of shul. Bryce that supports this as well. Rabbi Nassan says, from where do we know that the Ribono Shel Olam never turns away from the collective tefillos, right? That when it comes to the tefillos of the Rabbim, literally it means that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is never disgusted by the tefillos of the Rabbim, which means that HaKadosh Baruch Hu never rejects the tefillah of the Rabbim. Shnei Amar, Hein el kabir v'lo yim asuk siv, pedei b'shalom nafshi mikarav li v'gomer. Amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So Bon Shalom says, so we'll say really an incredible and overwhelming Gemara. We'll say, sometimes we take for granted the power we have to be able to daven in the shul. We'll say, you remember when the pandemic, right, first came and right, we shut down the shuls, right after Purim. You remember that feeling? Like what you would have given to be able to daven in shul, right? What you would have given to be able to daven in shul. But kind of like the world goes back to normal. Not that the world is normal, but we rebound, and then once again we take for granted the ability to come to a shul, which is a mikdash ma'at, the house of the Ribono Shel Olam. I guess this is a topic that's close to my heart, being that I have the great zchus to spend the majority of my life in the house of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, which is a tremendous personal zchus. I would say, but the power that we have to come here to daven, the power that we have to come here to learn, sometimes we don't even fully appreciate what it is and what it means. So the Gemara goes right. Amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Kol ha'osek b'Torah gemilas chasadim. Of any person who learns Torah, does chesed, u'mispalel im hatzibor, and he davens with the tzibor. Again, I both say understand that here the Gemara is understanding tefillah b'tzibor is not just simply davening with a minyan, but tefillah b'tzibor means davening with a minyan in shul. So listen to this recipe for success. If you learn Torah and you do chesed and you daven with a minyan in shul, Ma'ali alav ani alav kilu pada'ani li v'lebanai mibein umos ha'olam. We'll say, you hear this? If a person learns Torah, does chesed, and davens in shul with the Meina, Kadosh Baruch Hu says, I count it as if such a person redeemed me and all of my children from amongst the nations of the world. Let's say, I was thinking about this just before I was looking at this Gemara. What a poignant Gemara for us to learn during these days, right? I will say that a moment goes by that we don't think about our brothers and sisters in Gaza, right? In over 240 precious neshamas, who knows what's happening to them? Who knows what conditions they're being held under? Who knows what they're experiencing? And often we feel helpless. I will say, but look at a Gemara like this. Kadosh Baruch Hu says, you don't have to feel helpless. If a person learns Torah, and a person does chesed, and a person davens with the minyan in shul, it's as if he has redeemed HaKadosh Baruch Hu and all of Klal Yisrael from amongst the nations of the world. But say, isn't that a powerful Gemara? We want to do something for the captives, want to do something for the shvuyim. So again, engage in a redemptive process. And what's the redemptive process? Torah, Gemilos Chasadim, davening with a minyan in shul. Those are three concrete things that we have the ability to do for our brothers and sisters. Incredible. So Amar Reish Lakish, I will say first wide line. This is incredible. Ve'eno nichnas sham lispalal, nikra shachein ra. I will say whoever has a shul in his city and doesn't walk in there to daven is called a bad neighbor. A bad neighbor. Now again, I'm not going to comment on this, but it could be that things like basement minyanim or other side minyanim, again, whatever, I don't judge. But if I were to judge, I would say, so what are you doing? What are you doing? Why? Why daven in someone's basement? Why do that? Why daven in somewhere that's not a... Okay, if somebody converts their basement into a Beis HaKnesses, okay, that's one thing, but why? Why? A person has a shul in their community. Okay, of course, everybody has the shul they won't go to. That's fine. But even the shul, so you don't have to go to the shul you won't go to, but go to the shul you will go to. How could a person give up going to a shul? How could a person give up going to a Beis HaKnesses, to a house of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, because something else is a little bit more convenient? I don't know. It's something I never could wrap my head around. Maybe it's because I grew up in a small community where everybody was needed in shul, right? Or because my life is shul, so maybe it is, but like for the life of me, I don't get it. I don't get it from Ma'ariv on Motzei Shabbos, as if Ma'ariv on Motzei Shabbos is like the stepchild of davening, right? It doesn't make a difference. You could daven on your deck, you could daven on your front lawn, your back lawn. Someone says, well, who said Ma'ariv on Motzei Shabbos? Ma'ariv Motzei Shabbos is probably the holiest tefillah of the whole week. How you daven Ma'ariv Motzei Shabbos sets the tone for all of your tefillos for the rest of the week. It's the first weekday tefillah. So if it's chap plop in someone's dining room because that's closer, why? Why? There is a Beis Hamikdash right in our midst. Wherever you are, right? But we live in a big community. Wherever you are, there's a Beis Hamikdash in your midst. How can you give up the opportunity to go to the house of HaKadosh Baruch Hu for something that's a couple of steps closer, a little bit more convenient? Incredible. Shneimar, Ko Amar Hashem, Al Kol Shchenei Haroim Hanogi Benachla Shenchalti Es Ami Es Yisrael. V'lo od El Shagorim Galus Lo Labana. We'll say it's pretty scary. Person has a shul in his community and he doesn't go into it. It causes exile for himself and for his children. Shneimar Hineni Notsha Me'alad Masam Bes Beis Yudah Tash Mitach. I will say, by the way, I want to tell you what does it mean? A person, I don't understand. A person doesn't go in. I say, I'm a good Jew. I daven all the time. I just don't go to shul. I go to the block minyan. I go to this minyan. I go to that minyan. I go to that. Why? That causes gullus for my kids. I will say, it's something very important, and especially when you have young children. One of the most important things a person could do for their family is to plant roots in the kehillah, to be part of something bigger than yourself. If you're davening here, you're davening there, there's this minyan, there's that minyan, there's this basement, there's this block, there's this, that, you're spiritually nomadic. You're a spiritual nomad. If you don't put down roots somewhere, you teach that same nomad-kite to your children as well. That's what it means, gorem galus. It's not a punishment. It's a cause and effect. If you're not rooted somewhere, and not part of the kingdom, not part of something bigger than yourself, then your kids aren't going to see the value in that as well. And they'll be ping-ponging around all over the place also, which of course, could they be good Jews like that? Absolutely. But Lamaisa, they're losing out on such a profound piece of Ruchnius. Amru Rabbi Yochanan. He said to Rabbi Yochanan, Ika Sabi beBavel. This is incredible. He said to Rabbi Yochanan, there are old people in Bavel. So Tama va'amar l'man girbu yimechem mevinechem al ha'adama. So I will say, so here's the problem. So they said to Rabbi Yochanan, there are old people in Bavel. Now what's wrong with saying there are old people in Bavel? I will say tremendous heshkat to Reb Shmuel for the seltzer. If you haven't tried the grapefruit, I highly recommend it. Excellent. So let's listen to this. They said to Rabbi Yochanan that there are old people in Bavel. But Rabbi Yochanan said, how could there be old people in Bavel? After all, the pasuk says, "L'man yirbu yimechem b'imei v'nechem al ha'adama." The pasuk ascribes longevity to living in Eretz Yisrael. So, right? It sounds like how do you get old? So what's the rest of be getting old? Living in Eretz Yisrael. So these people don't live in Eretz Yisrael. So how could they be old? It was incredible. So the Gemara says, "So ha'adama ksiv aval b'chutz la'aretz lo." Listen to this. It was like Kevan da Amrile Mekadmi u'mechashel be'kinishta. When they told Rabbi Yochanan, oh no, these old men in Bavel, you know what they do? They get to shul early, and they're also they're in shul in the morning, and they're in shul in the evening. Amar hainu da'ahani luhu. Oh, Rabbi Yochanan says, now I understand it. There's a chus for longevity. Kedar Rabbi Shimon Levi lebnei, as Rabbi Shimon Levi said to his sons, Kadimu v'chashichu v'ayil lebei knishta. Make sure to go early to shul in the morning and be there in the evening as well. Ki hechi ditarachu chayi. And ultimately, again, in order that you elongate your life. So I will say a very beautiful idea that somehow, again, and it's all the same concept, rooting yourself in community, rooting yourself in the Beis HaKnesses, rooting yourself in the house of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, has so many positive byproducts, the Gemara says, including longevity. And I will say, by the way, whenever we speak about longevity in the eyes of Chazal is not always measured in lifespan, right? But rather, again, longevity could also be measured, or is quality. How does a person have quality of life? How does it? Because that's really also, because we all love to live for a long time. I will say, but remember, if somebody gave you a choice between a very long life that lacked quality of life, although that's such a dangerous term today, right, versus a short life that was filled with quality, I think all of us would choose the short life filled with quality, right? No one wants to just exist for the sake of existing. So the Gemara says, how do you ensure that your life is filled with quality? And the answer is, embed yourself in a shul. right? Embed yourself in the Mikdash Ma'at. Embed yourself in the house of the Ribono Shalom. That's how you ensure longevity, quality of life. Incredible. So Micro, what's the meaning of the pasuk? Ashrei Adam Shomei Ali Lishkod al Daltosa Yom Yom Lishmor Mezuzas Pesuk Sibasrei Kimotzai Matzei Chaim. So also the Gemara quotes this pasuk that literally again praiseworthy is the person who listens to me and ultimately again embeds himself by my doors day after day. And after it says, because he who finds me will find life. So you see over here that embedding yourself in shul, embedding yourself in the Beis HaKnesses ultimately gives one longevity. Amr Rav Chisda. What's the interesting Gemara? A person should make sure to enter in 2 doorways in shul. So the Gemara says, you have to walk in through 2 doors to shul. So what's interesting? The Gemara says, no, what it means is like this. Don't daven by the door. Interesting, right? Don't daven by the exit. Don't daven by the exit. When you walk into shul, in other words, you should be literally like 2 doors lengths toward doors widths inside the doors. Don't daven by the door. Move yourself a little bit. And both say, what's the logic behind that? It makes sense. Why? Because let's be honest. Why do people daven by doors? Why do people daven by doors? Right? Quick getaway, right? That's the idea. Quick getaway, right? I need to get out of here, right? Whether it's in the Haftorah, whether it's by Uvalat Sion, whatever it is, I got it. So the idea is, okay, sometimes a person does need a quick getaway, okay? But even so, let's say, how you position yourself in shul ultimately, again, does a lot for your tefillah experience as well. So if I'm davening by the door, the whole time my mind is on the door. So even if you have to leave early, it happens. People have to leave early. But Lamai said, at least embed yourself inside of the Beis HaKnesses. It's so incredible. Abba says to another line, so Bo says it's actually an interesting pasuk. This sugya is going to go on for a while. So literally translated, for this, the chassid will daven le'es mitzvah. Now Bo say, what the pasuk is trying to convey is the following: that there is zos, there is this thing that a person davens, that it should be available to them when they need it. Azos yispalo chassid. For this, the chassid davens li'es mitzvah. That when he needs it, it should be available to him. It's beautiful. What's the problem? What is it talking about? What's the zos? What's the it? What's the thing that I want to always be available to me when I need it? Am Rabbi Chanina li'es mitzvah zu isha. This refers to a good wife. A good wife. Shnei amar matzah isha matzah tov. All because the pasuk says a man finds a wife, he has found good. So ultimately, again, the pasuk means lezos. So alzos hispal kochases. So what does a chassid daven for that he should have when he needs it most? A good wife. Because a good wife, I will say again, is pivotal. A good wife is so necessary at a time when potentially, again, I'm on the crossroads for making a good decision, a bad decision. Having a good wife to be able to tell me what to do and how to do it and what not to do is a treasure. Is a treasure. Now, this is incredible. In Eretz Yisrael, kinosiv inish. So when a man would get married, Amr lehachi, they would ask him, matzah or motza? Now, is incredible. So in Eretz Yisrael, when a man would get married, they'd ask him the following. They'd ask him a simple question. Now he's already married. They say, tell me, chasen, matzah or motza? Now, what does it mean, matzah or motza? Watch this. Matzah dechsiv, matzah isha matzah tov, v'yafik ritzom Hashem. So is your marriage matzah, that you found the wife you found good? Or is your marriage motza, dechsiv, umotza ani mar mimabes es ha'isha? Right? So, or is it, as Shlomo Melech writes in Koheles, I found something more bitter than death, and it is a woman. Now, I'll say, okay, a little bit of explanation, right? So, I'll say what it means is, what is Shlomo Melech saying? We'll say, when, on one hand, matzah isha, matzah tov, you have a good marriage, you have everything in life. You really do, right? If you have a good marriage, it doesn't mean you have everything you want, but if you have a good marriage, it means that you have a tremendous bracha that'll help you navigate all the difficult things. Conversely, we know a person doesn't have shalom bayis. If you don't have shalom bayis, you could have all the money in the world, right? You could have all of the material success you want. It's meaningless. It's meaningless. If I come home and there's no shalom in that home, nothing else matters. So in Eretz Yisrael, they would say, I don't know if this is like a shalom brachas, I don't know what they would do with it, right? So tell us, chasen, is it matzah or motza, right? Is it matzah isha matzah tov? Is it good? Or is it motza ani mar mimaves esa isha? Again, don't use this, right? This is not, but it is interesting. It is interesting to highlight how, again, the quality of one's marriage and the quality of one's shalom bayis is really a fundamental determinant for their general life happiness. Right? Shalom bayis is in a good place. Baruch Hashem, general life happiness is in a good place as well. Shalom bayis is struggling. Then, unfortunately, again, almost everything else is struggling. So we'll stop over here for today. We'll pick up, and we'll finish up the rest of this. So you can also, again, so we're leaving off in the middle of the Eis Mitzol Gemara. So we'll see more explanations of Chazal. I hope you don't mind. We could run through it and gobble it up in 25 minutes, but we lose out on all of the beauty. So again, just for this week, I think for these, already actually the truth is, for this week we'll just maybe move a tad slower. So we won't accomplish, I think we'll end up doing like a half an Amud a night. And we'll probably get through one blot instead of two blot this week, but hopefully we'll emerge with a greater appreciation of the Gemara. Then next week in Meretz Hashem, get back to our regular schedule. Shkoyach.